Hey guys, Kired here. So, you guys are all familiar with names, right? A name is a word or set of words by which a person, animal, place, or thing is known, addressed, or referred to. Now, you may think, why are these important? Why can't we just say, hey, young lad over there, or hey, young good looking girl over there? Well, names mean so much, not only for ourselves, but for our society. So many things are attached to your name, such as your hospital records, dental records, your social security number, credit score, etc. These things are all important to our daily lives, no? More than 120 million babies will be born this year alone. And after they survive, sooner or later, they will be initiated into a name. No matter how, where, what, and when the name is chosen or given, the giving and receiving of a name is an event of major importance. With all the things that are attached to names, what separates them from ordinary nouns like chair, desk, wall, or lamp, besides the fact that they're proper nouns? Despite the counterclaims of the arbitrary nature of names, their meanings and their purpose, names play a huge role in how people define themselves and how society sees them. Names reflect trends and traditions in different cultures, and more importantly, express a section of one's identity. All right, so take my name for example. My first name is Kired, Kirred. I'm the first and oldest child in my family. Adeptly treated like a junior, I'm named after my father. His name is Derek, and my name is his name spelled backwards. Without the C, of course, because that would just be redundant. My last name is Marcano, Marcano, reflection of my West Indian heritage. My ancestors were Spanish inquisitors who landed on the Caribbean island of Trinidad and reproduced with African descent natives on the island. Now, at first glance, my name might not sound too extravagant compared to anyone else's, but it's important to keep in mind that everyone's name tells a story, who they are, where they come from, and should be respected as such. Plenty of research suggests that the name chosen for a baby will impact the child's life well into adulthood. For instance, donning your newborn boy with a girly sounding name can mean behavioral problems down the line, and unique baby names that only your child can have may be a hardship as well. LiveScience.com details a British study of 3,000 parents released in May 2015 suggests that 1 in 5 parents regret the name they choose for a child, many of whom were distressed over the unusual or oddly spelled names they'd chosen. Even those who didn't explicitly regret the name choice admitted there were names they knew they wished they would have chosen in place, according to the study conducted by Bounty.com. Just as a person's clothing or accent can indicate something about that person's background or character, so can a first name. Just like any other external indicator, names can lie. David Figlo from Northwestern University in Illinois conducted a study where he analyzed millions of birth certificates and then broke down each name into more than 1,000 phonetic components. He analyzed the names for letter combinations, complexity, and other factors to figure out the probability that the name belonged to someone of low economic status. Kids who have names from that linguistic perspective are likely to be given by poorly educated parents. Those kids end up being treated differently as well, Figlo said. They do worse in school and are less likely to be recommended for gifted classes and more likely to be classified for learning disabled. The link between a child's name and their success later in life could have to do with these kids fulfilling others' expectations of them. Names that sound as though they come from a family of low socioeconomic status might be tagged as less capable of achieving their goals, for instance. Figlo says that people draw subconscious cues all the time about people. You meet a person for the first time and without thinking, well, you're looking at the way they're walking, what their accent sounds like, how they're dressed, whether they smell, and you're developing these immediate reactions, Figlo said. There's perhaps a very basic and simple evolutionary reason behind that. We're hardwired as humans to try and figure out in the quickest way possible whether or not we want to trust this person or whether we want to run from someone. Our biological background may be telling us something that we may not want to hear. Going into how names can shape the way people perceive us takes us right in from children in school to adults in the workplace. For example, in one of my favorite movies, Coach Carter, a pregnant teenage African-American girl is asked what she plans to name her baby. LaQuisha, the girl replies. Her friend says, well, you might as well have named your baby food stamps. Now, pause. Aside from this incredibly crude joke, the point is very clear. LaQuisha is a black name, and the person is suggesting that that name may affect the child's destiny. The premise is gained with scientific backing in the study called Are Emily and Greg More Employable Than Lakeisha and Jamal? A field experiment on labor market discrimination. This is a study conducted by MIT University of Chicago graduates in 2001 and 2002 and published by the National Bureau of Economic Research in 2003. Researchers sent 5,000 fictitious resumes for sales, clerical, and customer service positions in Chicago and Boston. Applicants with white-sounding names were 50% more likely to be called for initial interviews than those with African-American sounding ones. The racial gap was uniform across occupation, industry, and employer size. The response was almost immediate. African Americans debated whether the responsibility of giving a child the advantage of a white-sounding name outweighed the cultural or social right to name a child whatever the parents choose. Human resources personnel rushed to make sure that company hiring practices did not follow the patterns that the study described. Now, since the initial 2003 study, do Lakeisha and Jamal have a better chance of being called back, or do Emily and Greg still get the call? Author and commentator Keith Boykin says parents should be able to name their children whatever they want. It can be Shaniqua, Letitia, or Lexus Nexus, he says. We should not blame parents for giving kids ethnic-sounding names. Instead, we should examine what is it in American society that leads people to discriminate simply because of someone's parent choice of name. And this can't but naturally bring me back to my own experience. Growing up, not having a casual-sounding name or normal-sounding name like Emily or Sarah. No offense to Emily's or Sarah's in the audience. It was hard for me sometimes. Definitely explaining to people my name or pronouncing my name, and people would immediately respond back with, well, what can I call you? Or, what's your nickname? My name, sis. In conclusion, names are the first thing given to a baby when it's born. You have your name before you own anything else in this world. It's something that is yours and yours alone. Unless your name is like Emily or Sarah, but that's not the point. The point is, even all the Katies out there deserve to feel like their name is unique, honored, and respected. All the Amethysts and Waldorfs deserve the same. The next time you meet someone with a name that's unfamiliar, take some time to learn more about it. The correct pronunciation, the origin of the name, or even some funny naming stories. Names are important to who we all are as people and should be celebrated, no matter what. Thank you.